Hey everybody, Boxingboa coming at you again today. Sorry I haven't done a video in a week. I've had two kids that are sick. I'm sick. We're slowly getting better. It's actually kind of funny. Before I get into my topic, is Saturday my middle daughter India said I want to go to the doctor, and she does not say that unless she's really sick. And so I was like, all right, I'll go with you because I need to get a flu shot anyway. So I went in with her, and she's got an ear infection, and they're like, so you want your flu shot? And they're like, yeah. They're like, well, how you been feeling? I said, well, my ear's been my left ear's been acting out, and I've been congested. So they checked my sinuses, sinus infection. They checked my ear infection. So me and her both got put on antibiotics. Priest is getting better. He didn't have to get on antibiotics, which is good. So been a little under the weather, but we're getting through it. What I want to talk about today is, you get a lot of snakes, and there's a lot of questions that come up with carpet pythons. But the reason why I'm bringing this topic is I contacted a very well-known breeder, an excellent breeder, about a snake. And I asked what the genetics were and what the parenting was and stuff like that. Like what's the percentages and stuff like that. The person got back to me and said, well, it's a caramel hit granite to a, I think it was a caramel hit granite to a hit granite. I'm like, okay, it's not pure or anything, but so you told me that it's a caramel, which one of the parents was caramel, stuff like that, but that's not telling me like what the percentages of that parent, like what is this? Is it a 50% Eringia, 50% coastal, a higher percentage Eringia, lower percentage coastal, a higher percentage coastal, lower percentage Eringia? There was no information. Caramel tells me the morph, granite tells me the morph, but I asked for more specific details than that, and they just couldn't give it to me. They just could not, and I asked, and they just could not give it to me. It's because they don't know. So that's why you got to keep records, and this is one of my many things that I keep. It says snake stuff. I have tarantulas. I have several of these. And I mean, in here you can just see there's just a bunch of paperwork, stuff like that. I don't know how much can they see that, Aaliyah? Just pan over if you got to.
Okay.
Alright, so right here, I got two binders in here. Two thick binders, okay, of snake records. Alright, so this is what I want to talk about. If I sold somebody this as a jag, okay, and I said, well, it's a coastal Darwin, which is what this is. Okay, great. You're telling me the species that you use to make the snake, but you're not telling me the percentage, so I'd want to know. Luckily, the person I got this from let me know. 50% Darwin, 50% coastal. So I know the percentage, so if I want to make something more similar, if I want to up the percentage of Darwin, up the percentage of coastal, I can do that and know where I'm going with it. Now, this one gets a little trickier. What is she? This is obviously. I mean, there's some hints to what she is. She's striped. This is. By the way, this is Charlotte, and this is June. June is 100% hit for striped albino. She's striped herself. Now, what I can do is I can go to my records here, and I see where my boas are and stuff like that. And you can tell I got a very thick. You can tell. All this is full of snakes. It's actually, I'm still going on farther than that. So this tells you how many snakes I actually do have a little bit. I won't give you the exact number, but it's a ton. I gotta flip through it. Okay, here we go. And this is just the record. This is not like the breeding one. This is just the record that tells me, because I have breeding records and charts and stuff like that too in another book. This just tells me strictly what they are. So I can go to June, which is this girl, and I know she's a striped albino, 100% hit for striped line albino, high red, reduced pattern, okay? She's 50% Darwin, 37.5% coastal, and 12.5% Eringia. She was born on 7/8/2014. Breeder Ad Lilly. So I know the exact not only do I know the subspecies that have been put into her on the mix and stuff, or integrate as I like to say rather than mixed. because integrate is actually more accurate rather than mixed, because it's not truly a mix and they're not a hybrid. That's a different discussion, but to me a hybrid is a Woma to a ball python, a green tree to a carpet, a ball python to a blood to a carpet. Those are hybrids. These are integrades. Big difference. But that's just, I'll get into that later. Now, let's see if I'm accurate with Charlotte. Okay, now I gotta find her record here. And I got lots of records, so bear with me on this. Okay, that's the bred by. That one's the, okay, that one was that one. Where's she at? And no, I think I put her up closer. Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm looking for this, and as you can see, the snakes are just moving around me, very chill, very relaxed. Absolutely love how calm they are and how just chill they are. And they're getting big. They're definitely, I tried to breed them last year, but they didn't want to, neither one of them took. They both locked up, but neither one of them took. So hopefully, well, here goes another perfect example. I got an ear and Jaya coastal mix that's 82.5% coastal and 18.7% ear and Jaya. And that female was born 5/2015. So I mean, I just have all these records of all my snakes as far as what they are, what's the percentage, you know, what subspecies have been put into them, you know, whether they're pure or not pure. Okay, here we go. Charlotte, which is the Jag here. Charlotte, Jag, 50% Darwin, 50% coastal, from Psychotic Exotics, purchased from Riley. She was born 5/8/2012. So, I mean, and so that's why it's so important. So that way, I just don't, say I breed her, and I get some, I'm breeding her to the albino, but, so I'll be able to break down the percentage of what's in her and what's in that, because I know the male albino in here too. I can just flip over to his page, and there's Colossus, there's Disciple, Dagger, Shadow, there's Cash. Okay. Cash is the one that's breeding her, okay, is a striped line albino, 50% Darwin, 37.5% coastal, 12.5% ear and Jaya, high red line, reduced pattern line. He was born 4/17/2004. So once I breed her to him, okay, say I get albinos, which I don't think I will, but it's worth, I'm also wanting to up the Darwin anyway, so that's another reason why I'm doing that breeding. But I'll be able to figure out the exact percentage of those babies, so that way when you ask me about, hey, what is that snake, I can tell you, you know, it's a Jag, and then I can give you the percentage of how much coastal, how much ear and Jaya, how much Darwin's in it, you know, whatever else I use. And that's why I can't just sit there and agree when I ask somebody a question, they say, well, it's a caramel granite bred to a hit granite. Okay, well, it was a caramel Jag hit granite bred to a granite something or something like that. I had the thing, it was sent to me in an email is what I asked, so I don't have it on me because I didn't bring my iPad in here. But the point I'm trying to make is they couldn't tell me the percentage. Like I said, they told me the morph, they told me who the parents were, but they didn't give me no percentage, and I asked and they can't give it to me. They just don't have that information. It wasn't written down. And so, why I love intergrades and stuff like that, and I don't have a problem with intergrades, obviously, I think intergrades are far, far superior to pures, but that's just my own personal beliefs. I don't expect anyone else to agree with me on that. You guys hear these guys breathing, and they're moving around. But it's still important to keep a record, so that way you know, in case somebody asks that type of question, you're informed. And that's why it's so important to keep stuff like this on hand. And you see I have 2 record books. This is the red one, and then I have the black one here, which tells me breedings, pairings. You know, I keep, like right here, this one talks about the breeding I did. Sorry, I'm sitting here looking at it and reading while I'm trying to tell you what I'm saying, but this was Shredder, bred to the female. He was born, oh, that one's from back in the one. Yeah, that is from that day. Okay, here we go. Yeah, he was bred and that female didn't take. Here's the right breed I'm looking at. This one says Shredder. Get out of there, girl. Come here. She's going in this little binder hole, so I gotta get her to go back through so it doesn't get tangled up. Shredder to Heroine, it tells me exactly when I paired them together, how long they were together, the temperatures I kept, when I saw her start to ovulate, post-ovulation shed. Also tells me when the eggs were laid, when the eggs were hatched, how many babies. So, you know, I have 2 record books, plus I probably have about 5, I don't know, I have a lot of these, don't I, Leah? I have a ton of them. So, you know, that's why it's so important to keep records and keep track of everything. So that way if someone does ask you a question, you're able to give them a much, much more thorough answer. You know, whether, I don't care if it's carpets, if it's bloods, if it's ball pythons. You know, because when you're breeding hits and you're breeding percentages and you're breeding this or that, it's very easy, especially, and you guys know that have bred like myself. If you use a different male at one time, throw in this male with that female, and you don't see anything, so all of a sudden you throw in this other male, and all of a sudden you get this cluster pop out, and you're like, well, where did this come from? Where did that come from? You know, if you didn't keep your records, and I use Reptile Scan, but I also like to write everything down too. You know, that way I keep dual records. You know, that way I can go back and see what bred what. When did this male get put in with this female? Whoa, oh, okay, now I see how I got this, because this male was in there. I didn't witness any lockups, but that makes sense now. You know, so that's why it's so important to keep records. And that way, you know, you're not tricking yourself into thinking you know what it was, and then you just go ahead and say this is what it was, and you're not 100% sure. You know, because we all misremember things. That's why it's so important to write stuff down. And I mean, I write everything down. I write when they eat, when they shed. Actually, that's not in this one. That's in a different folder. I write down when they eat, and that's in one folder. And then in another folder, I write down when they shed. You know, and I know that seems like a lot of tedious paperwork, but it's really important to keep track of those types of things. You know, it just makes you a better snake keeper. It keeps you used to keeping records. That way you're never guessing into what's what. I can sit there and look at June's chart or Charlotte's chart and say, okay, she fed on this date. This is the size prey item she had. Has she went to the restroom? Does it look like she could use more? You know, I can sit there and go by that. You know, I don't weigh my snakes. I know a lot of people do. I don't. I think weighing is a good thing. But for me, I go more on looks and feel rather than weight, because you can be deceived by the weight. Do I think weighing is good? Yes, especially after you have a litter. You want to see how much that female is losing. But honestly, it's just, for me, I just don't weigh my snakes, because I go more on their look, their attitude, their behaviors, how they're feeling to me. You know, and you can see they're both very healthy animals, and they're very large females. They won't get much bigger than what they are now. I mean, they'll get a little thicker and stuff like that, but they won't get too much bigger. But my main point is, you know, definitely keep records, please. If you're not, start doing it. Get in the habit of it. I know it can be tedious, but it's so important, so that way you're more informed yourself. If you do sell anything, you know, you'll be able to inform the buyer, and also if any problems occur, you know, you can go back and look at your records and say, okay, well, this female last year did this. This male last year came off food around this time. That makes sense. How long was he off food for? You know, so it's not just about the percentages and stuff like that. It's also about just, you know, that way if problems do occur, you can go back and look. And then speaking of problems, like say you have a snake that's never had this problem before, and all of a sudden something pops up. Well, you can go back and look at your records and your charts and stuff like that and see where maybe another snake had something similar and how you were able to handle and deal with that, which could help you in the future with that snake. So my main point is definitely keep records, guys. It's highly important. I don't care if you have one snake. And I know I've seen a lot of breeders say, well, if you have one snake, it's not so important to really keep track or keep records. But it is. Because what if you end up getting another snake, or you know, something happens with the one snake you had, and you're like, well, she came off of food, and if you would have kept a record, you would have seen, well, she did this last year, or she did this 2 years ago, or she decided that she stopped eating, you know, not just eating because she's not eating. So then you can look back at that record and say, oh, well, she was eating rats, I switched her over to mice, and that got her going again, and I was able to switch her back over to rats or chicks or something. You know, so it's just important. You know, it's just an important habit to keep and get into. And I just can't stress that enough. And these two girls are absolutely beautiful girls. Hopefully they both will breed this year. They bred last year, but hopefully they take this year. You know, and that's the thing. You compare everything, you can do everything right, but it just didn't happen. You know, and speaking of that, I did write their lockups that they did have, and she ended up having, I witnessed at least 10 lockups, according to my chart, 10 lockups, plus, I think it was, I read earlier, like 7 possible lockups after that, and nothing. And she had actually like 8 lockups and 5 possible lockups, and nothing. So, you know, you just never know. You know, and that's why it's also important to keep records there. This is a perfect example. Say I used a different male this year. You know, I used the same male because I have a particular goal in mind. But say I decide to use a different male, and all of a sudden say I didn't use a hit albino to her, or I mean not a hit albino, say I didn't put an albino to her and I put something, a caramel to her, and all of a sudden I have albinos popping up. Well, I can go back and look at my records and realize, oh, well, last year she was bred with an albino she didn't take, but that don't mean she didn't retain the sperm. So that way it takes out so much guesswork, guys. So just if you don't keep records, please keep records. And I just want to say I'm catching up with everybody's videos today. I've been a little under the weather, so I'm a little behind. So don't think I'm ignoring you or not trying to watch your videos or support you. I've just been really, as you can hear in my voice, really under the weather lately. So I'm going to stop talking now because I'm starting to lose my voice. But just, you know, I'm catching up to you guys, and just thank you guys so much. Belated happy birthday to the Marine Corps, and belated happy Veterans Day to all of you that serve and allow me to keep the snakes I have, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have the freedoms that I have. If it wasn't for the veterans and the people that are serving in the armed forces today and I wouldn't be able to do what I do. I wouldn't even be able to sit here in this room and do a snake video and enjoy my children in safety. I know you hear a lot of bad things happening in this world, but when you look at the relativity to the outside of this world, not just what's in the media, but what's going on outside of this world, our country is the safest country in the world. So I just can't thank you guys enough for keeping this country the way it is and making it for what it is. So I just want to say God bless all you people out there, and just thank you so much. And you guys have a wonderful day. I'm going to keep staying positive. You stay positive. If you have any questions or comments, like I always say, just leave them down below, and you know I will get back to you. Thank you so much for watching the video. This is Boxingboa. June and Charlotte saying peace.